Well, good afternoon. My name is Michelle Cloutier, and I serve as the Vice President for Enrollment Management here at Bryant. And we are excited that you're joining us this afternoon to have conversation with our Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, Dr. Inge-Lise Ameer. I want to share with you that this has been one of the largest applicant pools in Bryant's history, and one of the most talented groups of students that we have admitted to our university. So hats off to all of you and your students for their hard work and pursuing Bryant for their next 4 years. So without further ado, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to one of my colleagues, Dr. Inge-Lise Ameer. She joined the Bryant community this past August of 2019, with loads of student affairs experience. She has a undergraduate degree from Beloit College and both a master's and a doctorate degree from Harvard University. Before coming to Bryant, she was on the student affairs team at Harvard and at Dartmouth, and most recently served as the Dean of Students at Colby College in Maine. We have so much fun working together, and we bounce ideas off each other all the time on how we can best support your students. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to my friend and colleague, Dr. Inge-Lise Ameer.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here with you today. First, we want to say from the Bryant community that we hope that you are all safe and well and getting through these very difficult times. Bryant is a big family, and we know what you're all going through, and we're there with you. And second, I'd just like to admit that we all know that we're wearing sweats underneath. So that's what's going on. I like to keep it real. You'll see that as we go along. And it's kind of nice now not to have to wear heels during the day. All right. So as Michelle said, my name is Inge Ameer, and I'm the Vice President for Student Affairs. So what does that mean exactly? So what it means is, under my area is residential life, security, Title IX, diversity and inclusion, the career office, which we refer to here as Amica, and health services and counseling services. I'll be going into all of those areas, but I like to have a lot of conversation. So I'll be stopping throughout to answer any questions that you might have. People who know me know that I'm just happy to answer whatever questions you have. My son just graduated from a different school, but don't tell Michelle that. And he just graduated last year. So I've just gone through the whole trying to be supportive but anxious process of being a college parent. So I can also answer any questions about that. I do always want to start with, if this is your first child to do college, it's all going to be fine, and everything's going to be great, and it's all going to work out. You don't always feel that way, but it really does. And when they walk across that stage, I tell you, there's nothing like it. I was so excited. I took pictures of the wrong young man in my cell phone because I was so excited, but luckily my daughter saved me. I don't know who the other young man was, but there you go. Okay, what are we trying to do at Bryant? We are trying to create a community of thoughtful, smart, intelligent global leaders. And what we do in student affairs is partner with the academic side of the house quite a bit in order to help students thrive here. So parents ask me all the time, well, what's your definition of success? When do you know you've had a good day? So let me give you an example of what I'm doing today, and that tells me I'm having a good day. So after we're done, I get to swear in all the new student government leaders from all the classes for next year. We moved those elections online because of the circumstances 2 weeks ago, and we got over 1,000 students voting for the student body president. And at 4 o'clock, I get to see the diverse and wonderful faces of all the new leaders. And then at 4:30, I get to address all the new orientation leaders. Each of your students we'll have a student peer to help them adjust and answer questions like where's the bathroom and how late is Subway open, and where do I go to get toilet paper, and these important questions like that. And then also more serious questions like I'm a little shy and how do I meet people? And I'll be spending my time with them at 4:30. So that's the kind of day that's a great day for me, because that's what we do here. We help students reach their best selves. We help them become strong leaders through good and difficult moments. And as I started with, what makes me feel successful at the end of a student's 4-year or 3-year or 2-year experience is that they have thrived here and taken advantage of everything. So it's a wonderful place, and college can be scary. So I kind of think of my area as helping students get over those hurdles and then get into thriving at Bryant. So let me start with orientation and saying welcome to Bryant. So we're the first eyes after the wonderful admissions crew that you see for summer orientation and then fall orientation. And what we're trying to do there is let students know that no one in the world has ever gone through college without getting help from somebody at some point in their career, often many times. So that could be an academic advisor, a counselor, a resident assistant, their intramural captain, whoever they're going to turn to. So in orientation, we try to introduce you to your faculty, your advisors, and to all the amazing opportunities. We have 100+ student organizations at Bryant, more coming all the time. And we have student leaders of all of those organizations. And one of the great things I get to do each week is meet with that group of students that's over 50 leaders times 2, and plan for the amazing range of events. One of the things, I come from some very large places, and I've just been amazed here as to the diversity of things for students to do, from community engagement to all kinds of physical and wellness things, to business organizations, and especially to the music and the arts. One of the things that's going to be kind of sad for me, frankly, I love the Bryant Players, and they were going to do High School Musical this spring, which, you know, I just love, I have to admit. And so I'm going to miss that. But last fall, they did a play based on Harry Potter that was awesome. So even though Bryant has a little bit of a reputation in the business world, which is fine, we have a whole lot of wonderful things going on in terms of range. And then we also take this whole leadership notion seriously. So we actually have a leadership curriculum that all our student leaders go through, training on how do you keep a budget, how do you get people to meetings, skills that they'll need way past their college lives. And they start with a retreat in the fall, and then they have another one in the spring. So we take that very seriously. And then after you engage with us in orientation, the next group is our resident assistants. So our resident assistants are all undergraduates who live in the residence halls with you. And it's a very competitive position. Lots and lots of people apply, and they are an awesome group of students living with you and making sure that you're having a positive experience, and also have someone you can talk to when things maybe aren't going that great, or you're feeling a little homesick, or all the many, many things that come up during your first year or second year in college. In terms of what the resident assistants also do is they make sure that the residence hall stays safe, they provide programming, and they also provide a lot of fun in the residence halls, in the lounges. There's always things going on, like a midnight pancake thing. I still don't really get the Quidditch team because we don't have any flying brooms, but they still do it somehow. So that, and then more cool things that I don't really understand, like playing virtual games with thousands of people all over the world. So the RAs are an integral part and a component of our campus. And for parents and families out there, they also give us the heads up if someone's struggling through something, and then we can step in and help. I'll stop for a sec and see if there's any questions at this point or comments. Sam, Katie, anything?
It looks like we don't have any questions at this moment.
Okay,
And if anyone,
that's because I'm doing so great, right?
yes, if anyone does have any questions, we welcome them to put them in the chat box below. Oh, it looks like we just got a question.
Oh, cool. Thank you. First question person.
Jack. Jack would like to know what campus security is like.
Oh, great question. That is such a good question. So campus security is really there to support our students and make for a safe environment. So I don't want to give the impression of these big, tall, scary people walking around and enforcing rules that seem unreasonable. Campus security works in partnership with students to make the campus safe. And actually, you'll start to know the security guards right off. And one of the things I was really impressed with when I got here is how many security guards knew students' names and their experience and were familiar with them. I go on some of the late evening rounds because I like to see, you know, what's really going on. And I have to say it's a very safe, nurturing campus. And I'm always impressed at how many security guards know all of the students. We also make a point of making sure that the security guards get out and around during the first 6 weeks of campus with the first year students so that they can get to know you and the transfer students. And then we also have our own EMT, which frankly is really nice. The other campuses I was at had to call ambulances for frankly some minor things. And we have our own wonderful EMT, and they can assist with, you know, upset stomachs, I've eaten too much, reactions to all kinds of things. So it's a wonderful 24/7 process. Great question. Anything else before I go on?
We are getting a couple more. Do most upperclassmen live on campus? Can you have a car on campus?
Great question. So we have 81% of students live on campus. We're actually almost at 82%. We have a really cool res ed system, I think. We have a system for first years, which is a more traditional residence hall system with a cool lounge and all of that. Then as your sophomores and juniors, you move into a little bit more independent areas. And then as seniors, you move into townhouses, which have their own kitchens and living rooms. And you get a taste of what life is like after college. So it's kind of a hierarchy of experience. And we find that students really like it. We are in our housing selection process right now. And we've almost finished half of the class. We did a live Instagram on Sunday with students who were going through the housing process the first time, and freshmen who were going to be sophomores, and answered their questions. Mostly the students answered the questions because they know it much better. And so we really encourage living on campus. Now we do have commuters, and we have a wonderful commuter lounge, and we have a terrific commuter student organization. So that's also an option. You can bring a car on campus after your first year.
All right, perfect. And we just had a question down below. Someone had asked, where's the chat box? Great question. The chat box is actually located down below. So if you hover over with your mouse, you'll see a little bubble that says chat. You can click that, and you can either message to everyone, or you can message directly to either Katie or myself, and we'll be able to get back to you or ask your question for you.
Thank you, Sam. So I'm going to move on to Amica Center, which is our Career Services Center. And one of the things we talk about, and I'm so proud of, and one of the main reasons I wanted to come to Bryant is last year we had a 99% placement rate for our seniors in jobs, internships, and graduate schools. One of the best things I think at Bryant is that from the moment you come on campus, it's not pressure to find a job or your career. We're all trying to help you figure out what you're passionate about and what you're going to do after you leave here and what's going to make you happy. And I've been just really impressed with the amount of internships, paid and unpaid, alumni support, community service projects. We had to cancel it because of the virus, but each spring we do spring break trips for community service, and we were heading to New Orleans this year. We weren't able to do that, but those, and then there's other trips to shadow different careers. So there's a DC trip, Chicago trip, New York City trip. So it's a great office. One, it's really friendly and welcoming. Two, it's right near the cafeteria, so you can always walk by it. And three, you can start engaging with it as soon as you're a first year, even if you just want to sit down and talk to one of the career counselors about life and some of the things that you're struggling with. And not necessarily struggling in a bad way. I mean, there you are, a high school student, and now you're a college student, and there's all these new majors that you haven't heard of and classes you're not sure about. So Amica is there to help. And then they also just run a lot of cool programming, trying to introduce you to all the different opportunities out there in the world. Are there any questions about career services or any issues like that?
The last question we just got was, what year do most students get an internship?
That's a great question. So sophomore year and then junior and senior. But I do want you to know that I was really impressed that first years can do an internship in their second semester. I've always advocated for that in my career, so I was really glad to see that we have that. And the Amica Center, along with your faculty and departments, help coordinate these internships. And they're all listed out. Once you come on campus, you'll be part of this huge new networking system online that we've created through the Amica Center in partnership with faculty and alumni. And you'll see all the different opportunities open to you. Anything else on that front?
Not at the moment.
Okay. So again, just want to say 99%. It's something we're really excited about. I also just wanted to say before I leave career services that even though we have a lot of business programs, which are wonderful, we also have internships and job placement in nonprofits, in NGOs, in the government, local and national. So I just want to keep that going in your mind, that coming to Bryant means you can do anything. And we're going to help you do that and help you have a successful, wonderful opportunity. I'm going to move now into health services and counseling services and also wellness services. So this is going to be your home. And just like when you are with your families, there are times you're going to need to see a doctor, nurse practitioner. There are times you're going to need to talk to a counselor or maybe talk to a dietitian. Maybe you're a new student who is an athlete and you're going to go to one of the many sessions we hold for athletes on how to eat in a healthful way in order to be your best self in the classroom and in sports. Maybe you're going to join a group of, we have a student group on wellness and nutrition, and you've decided to eat a different way maybe than you ate before, or you want to continue eating that way. We have a registered health dietitian who works with students all the time. Or maybe you have some dietary restrictions that you want to walk through with our dietary specialist, who now is on campus 3 days a week. So we're very excited. And she also does a lot of programming, and she will do a program during orientation as well. So let's say you're not feeling well, you've got a cold, let's say you hurt your knee. So you can go into health services anytime that you want, and they will see you and prescribe medicine for you and get you on the road to recovery. The other thing is, if it's after their hours, we have a 24-hour on-call system. So you would call the dean on call or the administrator on call, and we would make sure that you get what you need. The other cool thing about having an EMT 24/7 is, you know, frankly, all of us know you don't always really get sick between 9 to 5. Usually your tummy or your fever thing starts at midnight. So we have a system for that can support you. And our health services staff is really friendly. They're open, and you can just either call or you can go over and have an appointment. Any questions on the health services or wellness?
None at the moment. Our questions in here are kind of all over the place. So
we can do that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Do you want to take those now, or did you want to take some of those at the end?
Let's take some of those now. Let me just say before that, I also just want to emphasize we just upgraded our new gym facility, which all students can use. And we have yoga and meditation and all other kinds of terrific programs that are free to all students who want to take advantage, or you can swim laps in the pool, whatever you want to do. But wellness is a big priority for us, because we know a strong person is well mentally and well physically, and is getting supported in those areas. Okay, go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
Oh, it looks like we actually just got a question about health services. So how does health services work with personal insurance and cost?
Great question. Michelle, if I say something wrong here, will you correct me? Thank you. She knows everything, well, everything. So everyone needs to come, and this is true for any college or university, with insurance. We have our own insurance that you can buy, or you can bring insurance with you from your home and family. And that insurance is what we use to treat you in the Office of Health Services, as well as counseling, as well as wellness. Any other, doesn't have to be health.
About health, no, well, kind of health. So we've gotten a lot about COVID-19 and what it's looking like for the fall semester. And if there's any plan in place.
That is such a good question. So to be totally frank, right now, we just went online for the first time in our history. The majority of our students are living back at home, except for several of our international students. And we have gone online with student engagement, the career services, and all of our student services. So that's been taking up a good deal of our energies. And I have to just say, I'm so proud of my team for getting everything online in a constructive way, including fun social stuff we're doing on the weekends too, online. But the president has asked all of us in the cabinet and in the faculty to think about what the fall might look like. We're frankly waiting to see if this curve right now, which we're very fortunate in Rhode Island, our curve has not peaked, and our numbers are pretty low, but we're waiting to see nationally what the situation is going to be. But we are making backup plans. We've just started doing that. Michelle, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think we're looking at in the short term to get through this academic year, and planning for both an in-person start and also a contingency plan for what a virtual start would look like. Inge, I would say we were also looking at an in-person orientation and what a virtual orientation would look like. So we are trying to come out of the gate. We 100% want plan A. We want people, we want in person. That's our community. But we also recognize that the health and safety of all of our students, community members, faculty, staff is critically important. So we'll make adjustments as demanded by the situation at that time.
Perfect. Yes. And just to also share, some of our students are being impacted by the virus in different ways, and they're not here anymore, but we're still reaching out and having regular contact with them through counseling sessions, health services, student engagement. You know, Bryant wants to know all about you, whether you're here, you're not here, what's going on with you. So I just wanted to provide that example. I was just talking to a student this morning whose mom is just recovering now from COVID. She's a doctor and she was on the front lines, you know, and I know it meant a lot to him that we were reaching out to make sure he was okay and keeping up with his classes. But that's the kind of place we are here, whether you're here or not here. So it's, even though in these hard times, you know, I just think kindness and empathy and doing what you can, which are the main goals at Bryant, are also what we're using as our goals as we get through this really hard, unimaginable period.
Inge, one of the questions that I'm monitoring on the chat was just posted, is there one office to get school information of a critical nature as it happens? We have an emergency. Our homepage will automatically flip over to emergency.bryant.edu. And there will be directed messages for faculty and staff, for students, for parents, for essential personnel. So that's all one clearinghouse, so everybody has the same information. A couple of questions just came in regarding the May 1st deadline. We have not moved the deadline until May 1st. We still have till June 1st. We are still holding at May 1st. But as families need information, questions, surrounding to connect with a member of our campus community or connect with members of our financial aid team, we're happy to make those connections for you. And if there's something that's really pressing and extenuating, we're happy to work with families one-on-one to see what that situation is so that we can help you make the best decision for your family. But as of right now, it's still a May 1st deadline, and not sure if things will be open in May anyways for people to come and visit. So.
Great. Okay, now you've all been staring at your screen for half an hour and we're not in person, so I have to have a prop change. All right, there we go. Okay.
All right. Ready for another question?
Ready for another question.
Okay, so how do students go about getting a job on campus? Can they start looking in the summer prior to start of the year, or do they have to wait until they're on campus in the fall?
Great question. Michelle and I have started a new program where students who want to work on campus for the fall, the Amica Center is going to put out in partnership with financial aid some opportunities that students can have so they could start applying over the summer. And then the Amica Center is also going to be available during orientation and in the summer if you want to look at off-campus opportunities for your first year. Now, I just want to caution, the whole first semester of first year can be a little bit like walking into a wind tunnel. There's so much going on and it's all new and everybody wants to do everything. So I usually counsel people to wait for a job opportunity or internship for the second semester, but there are lots of on-campus jobs. In my office, we have students. In Michelle's office, we have students. So there's a lot of great opportunities for professional development on campus.
Kind of going back, the jobs kind of sparked a lot of questions down
Sure.
here. So what if my student is not available for on-campus jobs via financial aid?
Michelle, I know the answer. We have several non-work study jobs, but is there any other bigger answer than what I just said, Michelle?
No, there are a number of positions that require special skills. For example, you would not want me working at the help desk in IT because we're lucky I print on a daily basis. You would also probably not want me to be your lifeguard at the swimming pool because if you throw me out of a boat, I can probably save myself, but that's about it. So there are a number of jobs on campus that are special skills, and those are open to any students. We give first priority to students who have qualified for federal work study, which is awarded based on the FAFSA information. And then as as offices have needs, there are some students that would be very good working in offices where some may not be. So depending on the student's skills, where their strengths are, if they don't have work study, we still are able to hire those students. So we have a pretty strong workforce of students on campus, and we're happy to have them. It helps us know what's going on campus and to really have a good finger on the pulse of life of our students.
It also really helps us all be working towards the same goals, which is this thriving experience for students that are at Bryant and then students coming in, because basically all offices are working towards that. So it's very exciting.
I will say that every work study who is awarded a job will have a job. So if they call you and say there are no jobs left on campus, it may be not jobs that your student particularly is interested in. Lining the athletic fields, working in the equipment room, filing or answering phones. So every student who wants a job, there's a job available to them. It may not be there, sit in the library at the reference desk perhaps and get paid to do their homework. That we do require some work to be done at many of the jobs on campus. There's a question about the percentage of work study students on campus that came in. I would say that there are probably about 500 students at some point working on campus and within all of our divisions. So that would be roughly 15% of our student body.
Anything else, Sam?
It looks like a question about the physicals for students and the medical forms needed to live on campus, and if things are backed up, how that will affect possibly moving in.
I'm not aware of things. Michelle, you want to being backed up, but I see what you mean. Like if you can't get to your doctor.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's something that. Well, Michelle, did you want to answer?
Sure. We have a physician who has hours on campus, and if need be, we can give physicals right on campus. We will need vaccination records as well to move in. I think we are at a point where that information should be easily accessible through your doctor's office online. I have a kindergartner, and I'm able to zip right in to get him registered for kindergarten with all his vaccinations. But if you can't get in to get a physical because everybody else is trying to get their physical, we have a doctor on campus who is able to perform that exam for your student.
Let me just go on to counseling. So we have a fully functioning counseling services office that has hours for appointments during the day. We also have online emergency after hours if students need that. We also have different groups that meet, group around grief, group around all different kinds of issues. Our counselors are terrific. And, on a more serious note, as I said before, anyone going to college these days or days in the past, everybody hits a little bump once in a while. And it's very nice, I think, to know that you can turn to counselors on campus right here and talk to them and get on the path towards wellness. And they're all very open-minded, and we also do emergencies, and so it's a great group. They also do things like meditation, mindfulness, and other things like that. And they go into the classroom quite a bit, actually, to share their services and ways to deal with stress while you're going through school. So it's a pretty full-service, holistic approach. But I just wanted people to know that those services are also available. A couple other things. We have the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, PWC. We serve students who are transgender, gay students. We serve students who are first generation. We have an international student advisor. We have advisors for students of color. We have women's groups. So I also wanted to make sure that I touch on that very important component at Bryant, and that many of those students also lead organizations that run wonderful programs throughout the year. And it's just a very integral, wonderful part of our world here at Bryant. And as many of you know, who are all the older people on this call, in the workforce and in the world today, it's a global world. So part of our goal is helping students thrive in that environment also. And so it's a very important part of everything that we do here, and it's an important part of the Student Affairs Division. Sam, any questions?
They're flooding in. So we have a couple about social life on campus.
Good question.
So, do guest speakers ever come and visit? And if so, who are some guest speakers that we've had in the past?
Okay, so let me tell you a funny story. So sometimes on my calendar, there will be 3 cool guest speakers in a day, and I have to make a decision about what I'm going to do. But there are some of the most awesome speakers that come. And what's really great is it's sometimes at night, sometimes for a class. Some of you will have speakers through different programs targeted towards first years, and then there's weekends. And then different months of the year are dedicated to different topics. So we'll have speakers around sustainability, Black History Month, Latinx, all kinds of things, women's history. So it's, gosh, when the announcements come out on Monday about what's coming up, I'm always, you know, like a little kid, pretty excited because there's so many great things. And then there's wonderful musical opportunities too. The president sponsors a concert where professionals come, pianists and singers and jazz quartets, and perform in the Interfaith Center. So I tell you, some days I can't go to everything.
So some people that have come have been Jack and Susie Welch, Steve Wozniak from Apple, the founders of Life is Good, the founders of Ben and Jerry's. I'm trying to think, we had Shark Tank, the author who wrote Tuesdays with Maury had joined us. I'm trying to think. Barbara Corcoran, someone just texted me really quick that was the Shark Tank lady. Thanks, guys. The founder of Method Soap has come to campus, so they do a really good job of bringing folks to campus. For all you Patriots fans out there, Teddy Bruschi came right around the time he retired. Danny Amendola came to campus. Fun fact is that before they built Gillette Stadium, Patriots summer camp was hosted on our athletic field, so that was pretty cool. Cal Ripken Jr. has been here, so there's been a lot of big name people on campus.
And in terms of social life, there's a lot going on. So we have a big fall concert, a big spring concert, we have dances, we have music. Our new art barn is opening in the fall, and there'll be bands and music and poetry there on the weekends. We have all kinds of things going on every Friday and Saturday night, and frankly through the weekend, usually during the day, there's a lot of cool things going on too. So there's never not something to do.
Can you talk a little bit about Greek life and the percentage of students who are involved in Greek life on campus?
Yes, it's not a very high percentage. I should know exactly what it is, but I don't off the top of my head, but Michelle's going to look it up for me. But we have a few fraternities and sororities, and they're an integral part of student leadership on campus. But I want to make clear, a lot of those students are strong student leaders on campus, but it's not like all social life revolves in any way around Greek life. I just think it's important to know. So Greek life participates in the same social life that everybody else does, and we have a Greek advisor, and we have different Greek councils, and we expect those students to be integral parts of our community. And my experience in my first year here, which I'm finishing up in May, is that a lot of those students are involved in a lot of other things on campus, but they're also student leaders. And all of that, if you want to join, takes place in the sophomore year. And when we start in your first couple of weeks here, we have a huge student engagement fair with all of this. Every organization we have is outside if it's a beautiful day, and they'll be there too, so you can find out about those organizations, sororities, and fraternities.
Yeah, the percentage is about 14%, so it's relatively small.
Thanks, Michelle.
Welcome.
I couldn't grasp it in my mind for a minute.
And we're getting a lot of questions about housing, the roommate selection process,
Yeah.
housing options. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So you will receive a survey from the Office of Residential Life, and it'll ask you, are you awake a lot in the evening? Are you a night person, early morning person? All those kinds of questions. And then we'll work on roommate assignments for you. And I have to say that I've talked to a lot of upperclassmen this year, and those friends that they made in their first year floor are still some of their closest friends by the time they're seniors. So we pride ourselves on these matches, but also there'll be a lot of communication coming to you from the Office of Residential Life, and you can always ask questions, and they're gonna have some live Instagram sessions about housing, so that will help a lot, and you can ask them any kind of questions you want. You can even ask that now. They have an email, reslife@bryant.edu, which students are already emailing us about, which we answer, 24/7. So, and then after your first year, there's a housing selection process, which just started now based on a lottery, as almost all schools do, and you can choose in terms of what's available, of course, who your roommates or groups will be.
And then it looks like a couple questions about how competitive it is to become an RA on campus, what year can you become an RA, and what being an RA is like on campus.
Okay, that's one of my favorite questions. I started back in the day as a resident assistant, and it's still one of the best jobs I ever had. So it is pretty competitive to become an RA, I have to say, but we really try to diversify and bring in new people every year. You can apply at the end of your first year, and if you don't make it through that first year, then you can apply in your junior year. So the RAs are responsible for building, maintaining, and creating a real community in the residence halls. And they are responsible for programming each week. They're responsible for roommate conflicts. As you can imagine, sometimes those things come up and you got to work some stuff out. Maybe you've never had a roommate in your whole life and it's going to be a new thing, which is exciting on one side, but it can be a little scary on another. They also are a huge source of information about like where you go on things for campus, questions about how things work on campus. They're also just frankly a great peer advisor to talk to sometimes when either you're having a great day and no one's around and you want to tell them about this A you just got, or if you're feeling a little homesick or something's happened maybe in your life. Maybe a boyfriend-girlfriend breakup. So they're there for all those things. It's a great job. And that's one of my favorite, I'm not supposed to have any favorite groups, but that's one of my favorite groups to spend time with. They're very committed young people. And it's, again, building really strong skills that people will use later after leaving Bryant. And they get a lot of great training, too.
All right. I think if you have anything else that you want to talk about, maybe some more questions will flood in.
Okay,
but we're
cool.
still welcoming questions below. So if anyone thinks of anything else, feel
Great.
free to send us a chat.
I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the experience each year. So first years come in and it's all new and exciting, and spend a lot of time in that first semester getting or organized around their classes, making friends, seeing what organizations they want to join. And then in the sophomore year, people start taking leadership roles in many of the different organizations, but also people start going off campus for jobs. We have a lot of students that do a lot of community engagement off campus. And then in your junior and senior year, we see students get more into their majors and perhaps looking for study abroad opportunities, summer internships, in Rhode Island. So I kind of look at it as this evolving process, you know, very similar to when you started high school, only incredibly different because you're here making your own decisions. And so we try to give you a lot of support in making those decisions and making good decisions. A lot of the time of the staff in the Student Affairs Office is spent with students, which of course makes a lot of sense, just how I'm going to be spending most of my afternoon today, which I can't wait. I haven't seen them. It's very odd to be on a campus with almost no students. That's a first for me, I have to say. I never thought it would happen, but here we are. But so today, there's going to be students all filling the boxes just the way you are. So I'm very excited about that. So it's a growth opportunity, and each year in student affairs, we set goals. You know, what do sophomores need? Well, they're transitioning from being the first year student to getting more involved and making decisions about majors and careers. And so we try to collaborate with academic affairs to help students in whatever stage that they're in as they go through Bryant.
All right, so we actually got a great question that I think a lot of the parents will like. What advice do you have for first-year students and us as parents?
Oh, that is a great question. Okay, so let me start with parents. So I just want to share a couple of things that we hear all the time. Parents will say, well, no one's told them about this, or no one's told them about that. So for parents, if you could do me a huge favor, when your son or daughter says, no, I don't know anything about that, or there's no advising office, or there's no this, or that, there actually is, and there's lots of great resources. So if you can help them help themselves and learn how to advocate for themselves, and to go to the registrar's office if they need, or my office, we're all really friendly and open. And so that's the thing that I would advise. And then secondly, I would advise that some failure is not a bad thing. You know, a lot of first years across the country come in with real set ideas about what they think life is going to be like for them in terms of their careers and so forth. And college is this amazing place to find out things that you never even knew you didn't know. And so I just think to try to help them have that moment, those moments of discovery is really important. And then third thing for parents, I did cry all the way home after I dropped him off. I waited until I got in the car, because if I had started crying in and around all the other first year students, he would have been very unhappy with me. So you can do that. You can put some sad music on and just cry all the way home, and know that we're going to take great care of them, and that if they hit bumps in the road, that we're going to help them. For students, I just want you to be open to everything. I mean, new majors, new languages. Maybe you've never done community service. Maybe you never sang in a choir. Maybe you never sang in an a cappella group, but you wanted to. Maybe you never played volleyball. So we've got a volleyball court right where the residence halls are. So I just want you to be so excited and open to all the great things here and in the world, frankly. And we're here to help you thrive and to find those things.
This seems to be like an academic question, but are advisors assigned to students when they enter Bryant?
That's a good, Michelle, do you know exactly how that works? Because I'm not sure. I'm still a newbie a little bit.
Was that to me? I froze. Sorry. Did you kick that to me? My screen froze. I was moving and no one was moving. Is that to me?
See? We just had a moment and we're working through it.
Was that to me? You want me to take this one?
Yes.
Just know
Sorry.
you know the specifics better than I do.
So advisors are assigned to work with one advisor through, students are assigned to work with one advisor throughout their time at Bryant. There are certain advisors that work with all international business students. There are certain advisors that work with our athletes. There are certain advisors that work with honor students. And then there are advisors that work by alphabet. Some of our programs have different nuances that need to be very mindful and intentional of the course sequence that is taken to make sure you don't get to senior year and think, uh-oh, I didn't take that class. I was supposed to take that class sophomore year, and now there's no chance of graduating. So they're very deliberate and intentional in how they assign different populations. But then outside of those, it's assigned by last name so that the advisor works with the student over the 4 years and also has a caseload, if you will, that's manageable so that when your student needs to see their advisor, he or she is able and has the time to meet with her or him.
I knew she would know specifics right down to it. That's so good.
One of our last questions is about construction on campus. We understand that there has been some construction on the residence halls. Have the freshman residence halls been renovated? And if so, what have the renovations been?
Yeah, so we just finished last fall a wonderful renovation of Bristol House, and with a brand new lounge that everybody's in all the time. It's just a wonderful space, but it also has study space in there. We've also been part of our residence renaissance for several years now at Bryant, and we're continuing that, but that'll be happening in the summer. So those will be done when you all get here. We're updating the bathrooms, the lounges, paint, windows throughout, frankly, every single residence hall. And there's also great space on Bryant to hang out. I've been really impressed. The Unistructure, the AIC, the Fisher Center, the Interfaith Center. There's a lot of wonderful places where you can just go and be. And there's great light on campus and, you know, great windows and all of that. So I have to say, you know, it's my first year, so I've spent a lot of time thinking about that. Where would I go if, you know, I wanted to hang? Oh, and then the library is amazing. They have these really comfortable chairs, which sometimes you'll fall asleep in, but sometimes you'll meet your study group there. And we're big on group projects here at Bryant, and you'll work with your groups there. And then there's terrific cafes all throughout the campus.
And then someone wanted to know about the dining options on campus, so perfect.
So we've made a significant improvement in all of the dining and dining options this year at Bryant, and we're really proud of that. So one, you can use your meal swipes at some of the smaller cafes and do grab and goes, and those have been incredibly successful. We've added a whole new Asian fusion section in the large Salmonson dining hall, which everybody loves. And we've also created a lot more variety in the actual big dining hall food. And then you can use your swipes if you're a late night eater in Fisher Center, at Subway, and at Jack's. So that's been really exciting. And we're trying to increase swipes for some places off campus too. We're in negotiations now because of COVID. Right now, that's changed. We've had to slow that down, but we have hopes for that in the future. Plus, I just want students to know that we have a dining ombudsperson, because dining is an integral part of the college experience. And so if you ever have any issues, you write that person and she responds within 24 hours and gets the issue resolved. But she can also help you with any diet concerns or allergy concerns or anything like that. Yeah, I'm so excited where we're going with dining.
Someone wants to know if recycling is encouraged around the dining halls and around campus.
Recycling is encouraged. And we have a terrific sustainability student group, which is growing in membership, and I anticipate it being even larger in the upcoming year. And there's real opportunities for whoever you are out there asking me that question to be a strong student leader in sustainability. One of my goals, now that I've been here a year, is to introduce stronger sustainability practices in the residence halls next year.
Sam, there's a question that's been going on, sorry, about computer purchases. I want to share with all of you that your student will receive a mobile computing device when they arrive as a first-year student. We will give them a new replacement device as they start their junior year. So this cost of the machine is included in the cost of tuition. This year, it's an HP Elite book. I am typing on it right now and watching all of you right now. It's pretty fast and comes loaded with the software that your student will need. So you won't have to worry about purchasing a computer for your student to go off to college. And all of the computers are supported by Laptop Central, which is housed in our Bellow Center for Information and Technology. So they can drop their computer there. If it's going to take more than an hour to fix, they'll give your student a loaner one so they can continue to do their coursework or go to class with a computer and not be left stranded in this digital age. So it'll come with a case, everything that they will need.
I know we're coming to the end, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for spending this hour with me. I can't believe how these things work now. I took a typewriter to college, so that'll give you a sense of how in awe I am about this. I think Bryant is an amazing place. I've had a great first year, even through these difficult moments that we're going through right now. And I hope to see you all in the fall. And my staff are always available to help and to answer questions. I hope you all take good care and be well.
So thank you, Dr. Ameer, for spending some time with us this afternoon. I know we weren't able to get to all of your questions, but please reach out to the admissions staff and we will make sure that we connect you to make sure that your question is answered by the appropriate member of our Bryant community.
We welcome emails at all times, so feel free to send us an email with any questions. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay healthy, and go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.